Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is Venus from Venus Rising Tarot. So today's video is all about what should you focus on next. So while this is a timeless reading, I'm really excited to do today's video today because for those of you who are into astrology and track what the planets are doing, on as of this past weekend, so when this goes up it should be January 31st, but this past weekend, so January 27th, 28th, Uranus went direct. So we are in a 2-month period from now until April 2nd where all of the planets are stationed direct, which is a significant window of time for all planets to be stationed direct. And I was just really called to do a reading about what we should focus on, or what we're being called to focus on in this time. But if you miss this window, then don't worry, like the messages will still like apply because it is like the messages are intended to be timeless. It's really about what should you focus on next. So in today's reading, I have done something a little bit different, mainly because I have cut my thumb and I'm okay, but it's annoying. And I wanted to wear press-ons again because my nails are still struggling. And I have struggled in other videos trying to shuffle with the press-ons, and this was before I hurt my thumb. So I was like, let me not complicate anything and just leave it as simple as possible. As always, the press-on nails are by, or these ones in particular, the custom ones I have are by Fairy Press-Ons. You should check her out if you are in Toronto, but she does ship internationally. I think her store should be open right now. It does close from time to time. But yeah, so today's reading, as I said, all about what should you focus on next. So I've pre-shuffled all of the messages, long-winded way of saying it. So we've got like our 2 tarot cards that are going to be about what you should focus on next, and then the everyday tarot, the smaller purple ones, will be the ones giving us more information about that. And then we'll end off with some guidance from the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. So we've got our 3 piles today, so let's get into it. So for pile number 1, we have the red jasper. If it wants to focus. Yep. For pile number 2, we have the red agate. For pile number 3, we have the sunstone. So take all the time you need. Feel free to pause the video here if you need more time. And without further ado, I will see you in your piles. Hi pile ones, welcome to your reading. So you have picked the red jasper. Excuse my struggle. So in today's reading, we are going to go over what should you focus on next. So this reading is inspired by the astrological events that is going on currently. If you're watching this around the time it's upload, we have all the planets stationed direct up until April 2nd. So we're in this period of forward movement. The energy is really flowing. We're not really being called from the cosmos to reflect on anything at this time, because none of the planets are stationed retrograde. So how today's reading is going to work. So you've got this oracle card for guidance, which we'll look at the end. And we'll start off by looking at your tarot cards, which will be clarified by the Everyday Tarot. So, for your first card, we have the Tower. And then for your second card, you have the Two of Wands. So what I'm hearing is you're being called to really focus on what is it that you can change in your life at this time. With the Tower here, your spirit is... The Tower is typically like... I associate words like upheaval, but it doesn't feel like catastrophic in the energy flowing today. It's more so like there is a big transformation coming for you that you should focus on next. And it's really about focusing on what is it that you can change about your life, and then doing the things to change those things in your life. So Spirit is really asking you not to get caught up in the details of circumstances that are outside of your control, or trying to sort of like redirect your attention and move it from, worries and occupying thoughts I'm hearing around things that you can't change. Spirit is saying if you can really focus your energy on changing the things that are within your control, you are going to enter this period of beautiful transformation, which will set you up and set you for a solid foundation in the years to come. Then for your clarifying cards, you have the Emperor, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Holy Major Arcana, and the Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah. You're entering this very, very significant period in your life with the Emperor. With the Hermit here, what Spirit is asking you to do is really to reflect about what is it that you want to change and how do you best bring about those changes, and also get very clear on the why. With the Wheel of Fortune here, particularly in the reverse, you're trying to usher in this new era, and with this, it's being very clear as to... Sorry for not focusing. It's being very clear as to what is happening and why. Really focusing in on the purpose behind the changes, so that you can stay true to your vision. Right? The Wheel of Fortune is all about cycles, and in order for you to move into this new cycle, what Spirit is saying is that you're going to need some new tools. And it's kind of like that famous saying, it's like doing the same thing, or chaos is a result of doing the same thing and then expecting different results. And Spirit is saying if you want to usher in this new era, you have to do something new. And that's where this Tarot moment is coming in, and where this profound shift is coming in, is saying it's really about you and discovering a new path and a new approach, because I'm feeling like on the precipice of something big. The energy feels very anticipatory, like you've been waiting for this for a really long time. And Spirit is saying like the key piece to unlocking this new version of you, this new life, this new chapter, which is inevitably what you're trying to progress into, you have to let go of the old, and you have to let go of the old ways of being. And I'm kind of sort of seeing like the death card, and thinking of like a snake shedding its skin, to be like, in order for this metamorphosis, or even like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, like in order for that metamorphosis to take place, like the caterpillar has to weave its cocoon. It has to go into this period of hibernation and slumber, and then it emerges, right? And it emerges in this quite beautiful way as the butterfly. And like for the caterpillar, it's not like it had practice cocooning or it had practice becoming a butterfly before. This is the first time it's doing something like that. It's saying you need to move into this unknown space and try something that you've never tried before and never done before in order to get new results. And if you focus all of your energy on what is it you want to change, how are you going to change it, and really focus in, especially for some of you, I'm hearing the things that you've wanted to change about your life. It's not new things. There are some things where it's like, oh, I want to get like a new job, and it's like, oh, but I've been just applying, and Spirit's saying like, oh, you haven't gone out to networking events, you haven't, just cold called people in your field. It's like you need to try something new to usher in this change, and that's really what you need to focus in on next. It's asking yourself the question, what is it that I haven't been doing to bring in what is it that I want to do? And it could be that you're spending a lot of time learning. And I think that's really what the Hermit is saying, is that you're going to go into a bit of your own shell while you're in this process of trying to bring in this new sort of circumstance and scenario. And that's kind of what I'm getting with the Three of Cups in reverse, is that Spirit is saying we'll probably need to chill on the social life. It's not to say abandon all of your friends, but it's like really shifting our focus to this learning mode, to this growing mode. And what is it that you haven't done? And if it is like adding social to work, then do that. But I think for the most part, Spirit is saying, this kind of work is going to require some sacrifice, and it's going to require a sacrifice of some leisure time. And it's trying to, in asking and bringing your attention to this, Spirit is being very honest about what is it that you'll need to take a step back from in order to usher in the manifestations and the projects and the goals and the aspirations that you've been working on. I think that might be it for the main messages. So I want to get your advice card. Awakening. Oh, I love it when it comes together. Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. I think that speaks so perfectly to what we have been talking about in this reading. It's just like, in order to get new results, you have to come into this new being. And yeah, let me just read from the guidebook, and we'll just end your reading there, because what a beautiful message to end up on. And I just love it when everything works out really well. Like, I haven't pre-shuffled all the cards I was going to use in a very long time, so I wasn't sure how this would go. But awakening, I'm going to see if I can get this to focus. Okay, so awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. You are going through a period of awakening. Things are changing within you and at many levels. You are starting to remember ancient truths and discovering more and more about who you are and why you incarnated. You may find that you are experiencing past life flashbacks, seeing the invisible thread that is woven through all of life, or even feeling Kundalini Shakti rise through your body from the base of your spine. The most important thing for this time is not to overthink it and to stay grounded. Share your experiences with like soul people while you consciously integrate them. Journal and pay attention to your dreams. You are remembering, and your soul gifts are emerging. During this time of transition and awakening, you may be called to devote yourself to being of service. There are ideas, truths, concepts, books, and creations waiting to be birthed into this world. Stay open to receiving them. Pulling this card may be a sign that you are here to birth one of these creations into the world, or perhaps you are being called to make a shift in your life in order to be of service. Don't think too much about it. Instead, repeat the following work your light activation. I surrender to my awakening. I allow the Shakti energy to rise from the base of my spine. I open myself up to the universe, using me in a way that delights my mind, body, and spirit. All right. So, my pile number ones, that is all the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day whenever you're watching. And I hope to see you in the next one. And I'm going to be a lot more consistent, so feel free to comment, subscribe, like, whatever, to be reminded of when I drop the next video. But thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So today's reading is all about what you should focus on next. And if you missed it in the intro, today's reading is inspired by the current astrological timings where all planets are stationed direct and will be for the next 2-ish months. So we're looking at from January 27th, 28th, all the way up to April 2nd, 2024. If you find this reading after that period, no worries. The messages in this reading will be absolutely timeless. So we're going to be looking at what you should focus on next to harness in all of these direct moving and forward moving planetary motions, but also just what you should focus on next and where spirit is trying to guide you, what aspects of their life are, should have your focus at this time. So my pile number 2s, you chose the red agate. So pretty. And I forgot I had this. I can't believe I did. It's such a gorgeous stone. So today's video, I've pre-shuffled everything. I've cut my thumb. I'm okay. But between the nails and the thumb, I could only do one thing. So the Work Your Light Oracle will be your guidance, and we'll look at it towards the end of your reading. And to start off, we've got your tarot cards. We're going to look at these two to get the energy of what your focus should be, and this to get the Everyday Tarot to get more information about where your focus should be and potentially why. So, without further ado, you have the 10 of Swords and then the 9 of Cups in reverse. I always just need to flip this deck because sometimes just to double check that this is reverse versus upright. So the main thing I'm getting here, and it's a really interesting message. Actually, I want to hold up these cards side by side and hope it focuses. For those of you who are familiar with the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, like the 9 of Cups is kind of the wish fulfillment card, and you'll see like this person with, like the full 9 of Cups. This is in the reverse. And then the 10 of Swords, you'll see this person again with like usually 10 swords in their back. What I'm getting here, and it's really interesting that these came out together and in this way, is that Spirit wants you to focus on where you have come up to disappointments recently. And I'll tell you why. What I'm hearing is that a lesson that there needs to be learned, and at the time it doesn't really feel like you were in a position to integrate the lesson or even to have full depth of understanding, is what I'm hearing, of what the lesson is and what it is that Spirit was trying to teach you through this circumstance. Feels like there was a lot of like grief involved and a lot of resistant energy, which makes sense because it was a disappointment. We don't love disappointments. Like, they are not meant to make us happy or anything like that. So what it is that we are focusing on right now is how do we integrate those lessons, because I think there's a powerful lesson in a situation that you were recently disappointed. And I keep hearing the word recently, so I'm going to give it a time period of within the last 3 to 4 months. It's something that you were extremely and profoundly disappointed in the outcome or how the situation unfolded. But it's not as fresh as, you know, it happening like this morning or yesterday. So you've had enough space or time, not to say that the disappointment doesn't sting still, but, you know, there's been that breathing room. So to clarify that, we've got the Three of Wands in the upright, the Queen of Cups in the upright, the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, and then the King of Cups. Will you focus? Also in the reverse. So, this message is very clear for me, particularly with the King and Queen of Cups coming out in different orientations and like their counterparts, and both talking about the emotional realm. What the main lesson that Spirit wants you to focus on is, how do you relate to other people and how do they relate to you? I think that there might have been, in particular, some communication challenges in terms of how, you know, you're understood or how you understand other people. And this isn't to try and like blame you, or if this is a toxic situation, it's probably not, you know, like this message isn't for you. Like, I'm just sort of getting like there's been like a pattern of disagreements in the way that you've perceived or the way that people react to you for some of you. And what Spirit is kind of trying to bring attention to is it takes two to tango. To just put it bluntly, sometimes Spirit be very blunt, and it's really around what are the ways that you've contributed to the scenario and what are the ways that you contributed to the outcome. And it's really focused in your relationships with other people. I think it's so easy to get into this modality and to this like way of thinking where it's like, oh, it's the other person, it's completely other the person, I'm fine, I'm not doing anything wrong. But I think it's another thing, and it helps us to grow and mature as humans and as souls, to recognize like, what is it that we're doing that has contributed to a situation panning out in the way that it has, and in a situation not necessarily going the way we wanted. And with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, I think there's some work that we need to be doing in order to bring in like the harmony, which I'm seeing within like the Three of Wands. And this feels like it feels like more effort needs to be made. And in terms of like internal work, I think for some of it might be around a question of compassion. Where can we be more compassionate to others, but where can we also be more compassionate to ourselves? Because I'm also getting, for some of you, when things don't go well, you go to the opposite direction where it goes, everything's my fault, I can't do anything wrong. And Spirit is saying, this isn't what I want you to learn here. It's to be able to sort of look at a situation, be able to take the critique in the lesson that the lesson is sort of offering you and saying, here is where I contributed to the situation resulting the way it did, and here is how I can prevent that, you know, going forward, or be mindful of that. And really, Spirit is asking you to use this time to really focus on that level of like self-work and understanding what are the ways that you've contributed to it and how can you move beyond it. Because I think Spirit really wants to focus on how you can move forward, but it's sort of this cautionary energy of, if you don't sort of identify how you contributed to something you were disappointed in, then, you know, you're likely to repeat it in the future, and Spirit really doesn't want that. So for example, if it's like you haven't been getting like yeses when it comes to job applications, like maybe you're not actually applying for roles that are aligned with your skill set, or you're not taking the time to like tailor your resume or something like that. And Spirit is saying, okay, like I know this is disappointing and I know you really wanted this, but how is it that you can present yourself better or make yourself more aligned to the outcome you want? So now we will look at your guidance to wrap things up. So we have align your life. What is not aligned and needs to change. Get this to focus. There we go. So we have align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change. So again, this is about like the lesson. I really do think that this is a nice complimentary message to close off the reading that really sort of drives home the lessons and the integrating and understanding what is it that you can be doing. So, to close off the reading, I will read the excerpt from the guidebook. Align your life. What in your life is no longer in alignment with who you truly are? We are cyclical beings in a constant state of change, of evolution, of growth. Change is one of the only certainties of life. When you resist your cyclical nature, you resist life and feel stuck. Many of us have learned to be who the world wants us to be, but there comes a time when it is harder to hold onto this facade than it is to embrace who we truly are, to surrender to how we have changed and align the life to that way of being. If you pull this card, you are being called to let go of who you once were, or the things you once defined yourself by, the job, the relationship, and the mask you wore, and to embrace who you are truly now. To courageously step into the person that you came here to be in full authenticity, to embrace your weirdness and your uniqueness. Perhaps you have outgrown some relationships or circumstances, and it's time to reassess and bring the parts of your life into alignment so that they are congruent with who you truly are today. What in your life is not aligned or needs to change. So, I think really the area of focus to recap is on this reassessing energy and really about integrating the lessons that come with that. But my lovely pile number 2s, that is all the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be a lot more consistent, so you'll be seeing a lot more videos regularly, and I hope to see you next time. Bye! Hi Pile 3s, and welcome to your reading. So you chose this gorgeous sunstone, and today's reading is inspired by the astrological events that we are in right now, which is all about the planets. As of now, if you watch it at the time it's uploading, up until April 2nd, 2024, there is going to be no planet stationed retrogrades or in a period where there's a lot of forward movement across like all cosmic bodies in this time. If you're into astrology, I look more into that energy. So today we're really looking at what should you focus on next. If you find this video after this time has passed, don't worry. The messages are meant to be timeless, but again, we're drawing inspiration from this unique energy that we're in, because I feel like, especially in 2023, which planet wasn't in retrograde? That's how it felt in my life. So we have our guidance message here, which I will look at the end, but I'm feeling really called to just sort of pull all of your cards. So these will focus on the main areas of focus for you, and then these will clarify. So we'll clarify with the Everyday Tarot. So for your first card, we have the Three of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Devil. you want to focus. Thank you. Sometimes I find talking to the cards helps. And then we have Temperance. Okay, sorry, that does not want to focus. We have the World. We'll try this again. And we have Death. And then we have the Three of Swords. Okay, so immediately what I heard when the Devil came out was your fears. So there's something here that Spirit wants you to confront during this time, and it's focusing on confronting your fears. And with the Three of Cups in reverse, it could be your fears revolving around like group settings or more social sort of scenarios. And your fears, I'm hearing, like in relationships at large, particularly with the Three of Swords. Here, this feels like we may have like let heartbreak set us back in certain time, and certain relationships set us back, like emotionally, both platonically and romantically. And with the Devil and the Three of Cups here in particular, another thing that I think Spirit is focusing in on, or wants us to focus in on in this time, my pile number threes, is where are you living in excess? Because when I think of the Devil, like I think of sort of extremes. And so emotionally, where are you in excess? Like materially, where are you in excess? And is there a way to bring that back into harmony, particularly with the Three of Cups in reverse? And that, again, is like supported by Temperance. Like I've always gotten like a balanced vibe from the Temperance, particularly with the water flowing between cups. It's like, how do we transfer this? And how do we transfer from one cup to another while maintaining flow and maintaining balance, and without overflowing one cup, and without sort of being reckless and, spilling a drop. That is not like a dig on anybody's ability to pour water into cups. I'm sure I would spill. And with the World here, I think again, like, I'm just drawn to a lot of the circle imagery, because there's a circle like behind like the Devil, and the Devil's also Capricorn energy, and then there's a circle on the Death card, a circle on the World, and then the halo of the Angel as well. And I'm really drawn to sort of like the cycles here, and the cycles that we get into. And it could be that you've been getting into a cycle of excess, particularly with your spending. Take that if it resonates. That was just coming through like very, very strongly. So Spirit is asking you very, very strongly, and you'll be guided and supported through this process, but you're being called to focus on bringing some habits into sort of like alignment. With the Death in the World, like what I'm hearing in particular is that like this pile is like my transformation pile. There's a lot of divinely orchestrated events coming for you in this period, but I think how well this period goes for you depends on the discipline that you can bring in, and particularly with like the Devil and the Capricorn energy, because that's a sign that the Devil is associated with. And whenever I think of Capricorn, I think of Saturn, and Daddy Saturn is very, very like strict. It's the harsh, like it is a harsh ruler. It is very, very much like these are the lessons, take it or leave it, get on board or get out, and this is really what you're being called to do. And it's not going to be the most comfortable process for you, particularly with the Three of Swords here, but if you can really integrate this, then you're going to have a very harmonious period. I think the period of disharmony is going to come when you get out of I don't like, I'm hearing alignment. It doesn't feel like the right word, but maybe for some of you this will resonate, where you come out of alignment. But I'm feeling particularly when you get into this energy of just being like, it doesn't matter. Like, things will happen if they're meant to. And like, no, part of what the major lesson you need to learn is particularly as things get direct, because this is a very specific time period we're in, is to bring in that discipline in your own life. And I'm hearing a lot around consistency. It's about showing up and getting it done, I think, as well. Spirit is recommending that you read the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. That book cover just came to my mind, so I would check that out. And it's all about the psychology and science behind grit and who has it and is it a muscle and stuff like that. But you're really being called to focus on how do you bring in more discipline. And it's not to say that like discipline means that you're doing the same thing in the same way at the same level of effort. It means that you are being consistent in your effort. So you're showing up and getting it done, and the focus is on getting it done. Like the easiest example is like when it comes to a workout, like you're not going to be doing like a HIIT workout like every single day. One day it could be, going for a walk. Another day it could be doing some yoga. Another day it could be weightlifting. But the consistency is where you build that discipline and where you build in that practice. And that's what you're really being called to do in this time period. That's a very straightforward message. So you're being called to focus on your discipline, reining in excess, and yeah, let us look at your guidance. So you have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So taking this as something to keep in mind for this period, and it could be that you move into periods of excess because you are dimming your light in some way. But I am going to read from the guidebook, and then we'll just wrap up your reading here. So we have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Don't dim your light to accommodate someone else's smallness. We are all born to shine big and bright. The universe is expanding, and you are part of the universe, so expanding is a part of your nature. If someone makes you want to retract, notice and slowly back away. They are not for you, and you are not for them. Better yet, find it within yourself to expand and shine your light anyway. Flowers don't open and close according to who's walking by. They open and show their beauty regardless. If others don't want to be around you or you make them uncomfortable, it's because you are a shining light on the fact that they are dimming to fit in. By choosing to shine bright, you may just inspire them to turn on their light too, or not. Keep your light on anyway. All relationships are essentially an energetic agreement. The moment one person decides to start rising up and allowing their light to shine, it changes the energetic agreement and can create some waves. That's completely normal. The relationships that are meant to last will adapt to the change in energy. Others won't because they were likely born under the proviso of I love you as long as you don't shine brighter than me. That's okay. Not all people are meant to be in your life forever, but the lessons they teach us can still live on. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I was getting very weirdly emotional for that one. I don't know what's going on there, but that is all the messages I have for you, my pile number 3s. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day whenever you're watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more consistently. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!